my name's Terry Harrison. I'm going to show you how to paint an Irish landscape. I've chosen for this subject Dunguaire Castle, which is on the southeast coast of Galway Bay. Right, I've drawn up the scene first with pencil, and I've also put a little bit of masking fluid on the water in the foreground. We're going to start with the sky. Wet the sky area first with some clean water. So go up to the building, around, around the top, down to the horizon. Just quickly wet the sky. Start with a touch of raw sienna. Put that into the bottom part of the sky. Wash the brush out. Squeeze the water out of the brush so it's not too wet. Some ultramarine. And you paint in the blue of the sky, leaving gaps for the clouds. It comes down to the castle. Paint that in, across out of the painting. So large cloud here, coming down, cloud into the corner, smaller clouds towards the horizon, then ultramarine and burnt umber. So it's a greyish colour, and this will form the shade underneath the clouds. So just drop that in while it's still wet. Bring that down to the castle. Underneath those small clouds, just touch that, let the paint bleed up into the cloud. There's the shadow underneath the clouds. Then let it dry. With a mixture of cobalt blue and sunlit green, so it's a pale bluey green, and the foliage brush, use a piece of paper as a mask, and we paint the trees on the horizon by stippling. So hedgerow, tree, hedgerow, another tree there, tree next to it. Bring that forward to there. Change the colour slightly, a little bit stronger in colour. Change the angle. Stipple another hedgerow in there. Then country olive with some blue. Stipple. Then along the shoreline, like that. Then let it dry. You can then paint in the fields in between the hedgerows. So this is some raw sienna, and we go on to a very pale green here, and this little strip, maybe some more raw sienna. Get rid of the white. Then we can move on to the other side. So we start with a lightish colour first. Tree, stipple. Another one there, out of the painting. Bring that forward. Then with the darker colour, some midnight green. Sunlight's coming in this direction, so the shady part will be on the right hand side. Just bring that forward. Stipple like that. And And also there is a bush just on the side of the mount, so it goes up. Wash the brush out, darker colour, midnight green, and again that will sit on the right hand side of the bush. Just do that while it's still wet. While the trees are drying, we're going to start on the castle. So, raw sienna. So you put a light colour on first. So, some raw sienna. This can go over this other part of the building. This just adds a little bit of warmth to the grey. Maybe a touch of burnt sienna to there. And while that's wet, we use some cobalt blue with some burnt sienna. So it's a warm grey colour. And drop that into the wet. Push that up. Not too dark. Some more blue. Right, and we just let that dry off. Still with the medium detail brush, use a darker colour now. This is ultramarine and burnt umber, and start to paint in the shady part of the castle. So there's the start at the top, comes down onto this second tower. Right, while that's still wet, I'm going to drop some burnt sienna into there, just to add a little bit of colour to that shade. Comes down to that top of that tower there. There's the entrance to the keep. Right, on this part here, that's quite dark. Add some colour into the courtyard through the open door. Just going to let this dry off before I put the detail in on top. Changing to a smaller brush, this is the small detail brush, ultramarine burnt umber, it's fairly dark, and just start to paint in some of the detail on the chimney stack. Carefully paint that in. Make the roof just a little bit darker. Bring that forward. And still with the dark colour, some shade underneath this overhang, small window underneath, darker colour again underneath that overhang, there's a window tucked in the centre there. Make this shade darker on the side. Right. Now, while that's still drying off, you can then move on to the foliage brush and ultramarine and burnt umber, so that grey colour. I'm going to put some texture on the tower. So bash the brush so it opens the brush up. Use a piece of paper as a mask. Mask off the sky and just lightly stipple. You can try the brush out on the piece of paper first to make sure you've got the right colour and texture, and then just very gently stipple. Then take that away. Some texture in here. With a darker colour, this is some midnight green, touch of blue. Mask off the tower there, and there's some ivy climbing up the wall there. By using the piece of paper as a mask, you get this contrast between the dark and the lighter tower. With the small detail brush, just putting some colour onto the top of this small roof here.